Hello, beautiful souls. I am Valeria Maritza here at Healing Through You. I am an infinite being of light, and so are you. I have a treat for you today. I am so excited to have this guest here today. We were meant to meet about a month ago, and things did not work out, but divine timely, he is here now. This is Les Durrant. He is a UFO researcher. So if you are excited or interested about UFOs, this is the guy for you. So, welcome, Les. How are you today?
I am fabulous. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you inviting me to the show, and I'm really excited to do it here with you.
I'm so excited to hear all about the UFOs. This is one of the subjects that I have not had anyone really talk in depth about in my show, and I am very interested in it. I keep going outside and asking. I would like some more contact information here.
Yeah,
So,
right.
and I know that you have ways of doing that and teaching people.
Yes.
But let's get started with how uh, how did you get started with this with
Well,
contact?
sure. Basically, I was wanting to get some pictures or video of clouds and birds flying by, that kind of thing. And I was in Searcy, Arkansas, which is about 45 miles from here. And I put the camera on a little pedestal, and I don't know if people can see it, kind of like this. And I did it with, in selfie mode and hit record. And the clouds went by, and then but some C-130s flew by as well from Little Rock Air Force Base, and I noticed that there was a little object following them. And so yeah, which was kind of crazy, and I have video of that as well. But I gave that to Little Rock Air Force Base, and they gladly accepted it, and that's kind of how I got into this. And then I was like, wow, this is kind of easy to do because there was other objects on the video as well. And so I continue to keep getting them and everywhere I go. So that's something that I've been doing now for about 4 years.
Wow.
Yes.
So it's quite interesting because a lot of people do put their phones out and they don't really record things. Or do you feel maybe that they are recording but not noticing?
Sometimes that happens. Some people, I've seen quite a few videos where people will go back and say, oh, this is my family. And I say, well, look, there's a little object behind you. And they're like, wow, okay, that's crazy. But that happens. But I don't ever see a whole lot of people that do it intentionally. And that's what I do. So I'll
Hmm.
go out, and if today is a beautiful day, I go out and I'll set up all my cameras, and I have a little thing here where I can, a little, door hinge,
Hmm.
right? And then I can put that on the camera, on the back of the camera, and just hook it up and aim the camera up to the sky and just hit record. And that's what I do. And then I'll go back and view the recordings in not in real time, of course. I don't want to sit there for 45 minutes, but I use a free software called SM Player. And what I do with that is I'll go through and I'll fast forward and kind of what they call scrub it, go back and forth. And if you see a little dot or a little something that wouldn't normally be there, then you can slow it down, and then you can actually go frame by frame. And that's what I do with the software that I use.
I see. But your phone is just your regular phone, or is
Just
it?
yes, just a regular phone. And I use a lot of old phones as well. As long as they can record, then yeah, it doesn't matter. The phone can be old, and as long as the camera works, and as long as you can access your network with a USB cord, then
Mhm.
yeah, just use it. And I always ask people too, if you have any phones you want to get rid of, just let me know.
Amazing.
Yes.
So, so you put it out there for about 45 minutes and then you like
Yes, ma'am.
leave, or you just let it be there
Oh.
and you're also outside?
No, I just leave, but I kind of keep an eye on it every once in a while. Now, since we moved, let me refresh. I'll go
Mhm.
back to that. We were living up in the mountains and we didn't really have any neighbors, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But now I live in a neighborhood at the end of the street where, there's an intersection, and I have just barely a few feet that I can do it with. Then I would probably sit out there as well and watch them and kind of keep an eye on it. And as a side note, I've even asked Sonic if I could go up to the Sonic drive-in and sit out there on their grass. And they said, yeah, come on up and, bring some people and all that. So that's kind of how I do it. Yeah. And really anybody can do it. It's very easy if you have a computer.
Uh-huh. Okay. So, have you had any contact? Like, have you had any, can you interpret it? as like what you're seeing, or do you know what you're seeing?
Yes, definitely. So what I use a few different apps. One is called Flight Radar 24, so that I make sure that it's not a plane. And then I use one called Stellarium, so I can make sure it's not a satellite. And I always try to focus on a certain star and not any other stars. So really the main ones that are out there, Arcturus is a bright one. So I'll have people up there that will I'll tell them, say, look for Arcturus. And then once you find it, then you can kind of get zoned in, and I will ask them, I'll say, can you fly by Arcturus for me? And very often they do. And even on my YouTube channel, I've got a video where I ask them and they come immediately. So it's pretty quick. Now I don't
Wow.
know, maybe if you might have asked me to ask them a question. I don't
Yes,
remember.
I believe I
You
did.
did, you did. All right, thank you. I'm glad. Okay. So you asked me, I think, to ask what they wanted or what they were about. And I got this strong message a few times saying, we're here to take care of you.
Oh my gosh. Oh
Yes.
God, I got chills. That's amazing.
Yes. And I've had other people tell me that they're following me. And every time I seem to ask, we're watching you, we're taking care of you. And it's like, okay. And that it's great that I'm able to remember that you asked me that, but that's something that, yeah, we're here to take care of you. And so we moved from Georgia and finally found us a house, and that's what we're doing now. So yeah, they're here to take care of us. And I also think too, of course, that God's got a part of this. Of course, God's part in his plan, of course.
Hmm.
So yeah, and of course he created all of them as well. So yeah.
Yeah. So that's amazing. I love that.
Okay.
So maybe this is why we weren't able to record before.
Right, right, exactly. Yeah, because we were meant to do it today. See?
Yes. Okay. So when they said we're here to take care of you,
Mhm.
do you see that as take care of you, your family, or you, the world, humanity?
No, our family.
Okay.
Yeah, because I have crafts that follow me all the time as well. I've been to Utah, I've been to Texas, North Carolina, Tennessee, and I've seen crafts near me as well up there. And I've got videos of all of those on my YouTube channel as well.
Mhm. Why do you think that you are being taken care of by them in a way that you're also able to see them and communicate with them?
Right. I think maybe because it's what I do, I get my information out there. I've been doing this now for 4 years, and I'm in a documentary as well. And I've done so many podcasts too. And I
Hmm.
think it's just a matter of telling people how to do it without saying, well, this is it and that's the way it goes. I teach
Hmm.
people how to use it. So I'm basically being an ambassador. And I've been told many times that myself and my wife are ambassadors. So
Okay.
that's something that I think that that could be the reason.
Okay. Why do you feel the ETs want you to share this information on how to make contact with them?
I think they want more of a grassroots effort instead of a military type effort or a government type effort.
Hmm.
I think that it's going to be the people that get the information out as opposed to a military saying they're doing this or they're doing that, or the government saying, oh, they're going to do this or that, and everybody's pictures, oh, they're going to land on the White House lawn and all of that. And no, I don't think that's going to happen. It's going to be more of a spiritual celestial event.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That opens up the doors to what do you think what do you think why do you think they want that to happen as opposed to people getting the information through the government? Why do you feel they want to communicate more directly to the people or with the
Because I
people?
think, right, I think that they have more in common with the people. And it's the thing about the government is always trying to militarize things. And I think that it would be maybe a bad thing, or they would say, well, we know they're out there, but we're not going to say much more. So I think that we're going to let the entities show what they can do.
Hmm.
Now, once again, not all entities are good, not all entities are bad. They're just like us. So
Hmm.
if I think if you show them respect, then you get respect back. Now, the things that they do are way beyond anything that we can even imagine and the reason why they're doing it. So I've even had people say, well, if you get abducted, just tell them not to hurt you or to give you something so you're not in pain and to bring you back. And I've got a good friend of mine in Canada who's been abducted 8 times, and I've even seen the marks on his body and stuff. And uh,
Wow.
yeah, and they always bring him back to the same place. So there's a reason. And I think also the reason has to do with the Rh negative blood type.
Is your friend Rh negative blood?
Yes, yes.
Wow.
Yes, and many other friends of mine are as well that have that type. I don't have a negative blood type, but there's a lot of people who do.
Hmm.
And for some reason they are attracted to that. And I think what they're doing is they're trying to hybridize.
I was just going to say
Yes.
perhaps they're hybrids and they have already
Yes.
that connection.
Yes. Yeah. And they're already here. They're already here.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Um, how would um how would the work that you do help humanity, the people who are seeing your videos and learning how to communicate with them personally or like on their own without a third party? How would that help you feel people become ready for when they do show up for more of the
Right.
population?
Because they would know what they look like. They would know what the crafts do. They would know possibly, I don't, of course, they wouldn't know what the entities look like unless something happened, but they would be familiar with how many there are and how often they show up. I mean, literally, I have um, view of the sky probably smaller than this room that I'm in. And then when we talked before, when I was in Georgia, I had a big sky.
Hmm.
And there are some big sky areas around here, but I just didn't happen to get it. But that's okay because that's what I talk about. I was talking about if you could have 2 or 3 feet of sky going each way, then that's your view. It's just like with my phone. This
Hmm.
is the best my phone can do. It can only go that way. So if I put it up to the sky, it's only going to get that much. It's not like it's going to get the entire sky around it, right?
Correct.
So that's the thing that I tell people about is that even if you have a little bit of sky, that's fine. Just that's your sky and you'll know where the planes are, you'll know where the are, and then with you can have a compass to find out where the directions are, and so that's your little plot of sky.
Hmm.
And once they're familiar with that, and say they can walk outside and say, "Oh, that's Arcturus. Hey, that's Arcturus," and or that's Deneb, or that's whatever stars out there at the time. They'll know automatically when they look up, so they don't have to think about what it is. And then when they walk outside, they can look up and say, "Hey, can you fly by?" and be more familiar with it when it does happen. If they say, "Oh, yes, there has been a landing, there has been communication." A lot of us know we can use telepathy or other ways of doing it, and that's really the kind of the main thing. But having the community learn and know how to do that, that's kind of my goal. And
Hmm.
just I present it not as if, oh, I'm going to dig in and try to find out what these colorful ones are or whatever and where they're from. And I've had people tell me, where these ones are from. But my goal is to try to get the best footage that I can, the clearest footage that I can, and try not to post anything that's basically just a dot in the sky.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Maybe we can see some of those a little bit
Yes, yes,
in
of
there
course.
because I know you have lots of videos.
I sure do. Yes.
Um, what was coming up to mind, remember that whole event that happened in January in Florida with entities showing
Yes.
up,
Right.
and there was a lot of fear in the public from it, and also it kind of like just exploded and then it went away.
It did, didn't it? It just kind of went away. Yeah. And
Yes.
and I would think that maybe it might still be happening.
Uh-huh. So
Yeah.
what do you feel? Do you have any connection or communication to ask these entities what was that, or what was the purpose, or what happened, or do you know why it went away from the media?
That's actually a very good question. I wasn't able to do anything like that, but from what I have heard is that the quote unquote drones were not drones, that they are extraterrestrial.
Oh, the ones in Jersey.
Yes, especially New Jersey. Yes, and then they had those ones I think in Florida that were doing that as well, and basically all over the place.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
and
all
then
over the
yes,
place.
it did for some reason it did stop. Now I don't know if it just stopped because it was done with the 15 minutes of fame and
Mm-hmm.
something else happened. The election happened, of course. So they just don't talk about it as much anymore, but it could still
Suppression of
be
information.
right, exactly. Yes. So that could be very well possible that that's going on. Yeah.
Yeah, perhaps this is what I'm feeling that maybe you're here as the ambassador to help people communicate so that they can start doing this on their own and then remove that fear of like,
Right.
oh, here it is. And now I'm panicked. My nervous system goes out of whack, and then that's it for me.
Right, exactly. It becomes a moot point when everybody knows what it is. That's why whenever I find a document or whenever I find something, oh, well, that's my dog trying to get. Hey, Sebastian, that's Sebastian. I'm in here with the dogs.
It's beautiful.
With it's kind of a moot point, but whenever I get documents, I put them out immediately. So if I say, "Hey, I found this document," I'm going to release it.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about if they're going to come get me and put me away or something like that. I That doesn't bother me. I'm 61 years old. I don't care. It's like, can you imagine like, "Hey, they put me away because I put out some UFO stuff," right?
Uh,
Yeah, right, sure.
things
So
still happen.
yeah, right. So not a problem for me. But that's really my main thing is just to kind of get it all out there. And I in February I did a UFO conference in Georgia, and basically it was a packed house. It was very nice. The Fannin County Family Connection Food Bank gave us a room for free, and we had about 100 people and basically talked like we are now, and also presented information and different speakers and just kind of get the information out there. And then the people will be able to come up to me and say, something happened with me,
Hmm.
or I saw this, or I think that I've been abducted. And because a lot of people are too scared to talk about it.
For sure. For
Yeah.
sure.
And that's really the main thing. And I could probably get about 20 people, and maybe one or two would come up to me and say that something's happened. So it's very, very, very common.
I remember when I was growing up, I'm from Chile, so I grew up in Chile.
Yes.
And there's a lot of stories about UFOs abductions there
Mhm.
that were really spooky for me as a child. And I remember that when I would travel at nighttime, I would be really scared looking at the skies that I didn't actually want to see one because I always connected that to an abduction and something that was negative as opposed to
Right.
positive. So,
Right.
right? So that
Yeah.
has been kind of like the narrative. How can we shift that way of feeling or thinking or believing now that we are seeing a lot of UFOs that are coming here to help us or to support us, um, and then to remove that part of the fear from our subconscious?
I think the thing about that would be education. That's what we're doing is we're trying to educate people as far as where they're from, who they are, that kind of thing. And there's people way, way above me and other than me that have better explanations of where they're from and all of that. I'm just a guy with cameras and try to get the information out there. I don't really dig in. That's something that I can't because I've got ADHD. I can't focus on that kind of stuff. But I have had people say, "Oh, well, that's a Larian light ship," or this is that," and somebody might be proficient in Larian light ship. So what I do is, if somebody asks me a question, then I'll say, "Oh, hey, go talk to him or go talk to her about that," and you can get more information, even about star seeds. Do you know about star seeds?
Yes, yes.
Okay, yeah. So I did a podcast yesterday, and he'd never heard about what a star seed was, and it's kind of hard to explain
Uh-huh.
with a kind of straight face, but you have to give the best information that you can in the shortest time. So that's what I do, and just tell them that hey, that this is what a star seed is. But then all the star seeds can come out and also be ambassadors as well because they are higher up as far as what we do and that kind of thing. So, but to be yes, it's human nature to be scared of them, of course, because
Hmm.
you don't know what's going to happen, and that's why I talk to a lot of abductees and I say, "Hey, they did this or they did that." And if I know that that's going to happen and I'm strong enough for that to happen to me, then I'll accept it if I am abducted.
I have heard that people who are abducted, it has been written in their contracts, like on their soul contract before incarnating,
Mm-hmm.
that they already know, like, hey, this is going to be part of my life experience here. What are your thoughts on
Ooh,
that?
that sounds great. I like that. I think that that sounds very true. I think, yeah, because that's something especially that my church believes into is that we request to our parents and we request things in life. So I think that that's part of it, definitely. Yeah.
Okay,
That
amazing.
makes a lot of sense. It really
Yeah,
does.
and it almost takes the fear away of like, okay, well, it's just another struggle or challenge that I've created for myself to for whatever
Right.
life purpose you are.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, because of, there's out of all the population, it's only certain people, and as you mentioned before, people have a specific
Blood
blood
type.
type, right?
Hmm. Yes, yes. A lot of RH negative or and really what they're looking for is I do believe is hybridization.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the reasons why they're here. And that and also to not necessarily protect us, but to protect the earth that we're not going to blow up things.
Yes, for sure. I have also heard a lot of that about UFOs coming to protect us from blowing ourselves up.
Yes.
Because if we did that, then it would not just impact us humans, but people in other galaxies and in other planets and other places.
Right. Yes. There you go. Yep. There you go. There's a show called Above Majestic. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
No.
Above Majestic is great. It's above Majestic 12. And if you want, we can even talk about Majestic 12. But it's actually above them is the Freemasons and reptilians.
Uh-huh.
So, but the movie starts off, if you look up Above Majestic, the movie starts off with the atom bombs blowing up
Uh-huh.
and how that sends the wormholes, it affects the wormholes and the
Mm-hmm.
portals. There's millions of portals everywhere. In fact, I've got videos of crafts going into portals.
Oh,
So
amazing.
there's tons of portals going on. And when that happened, it affected it. I would even think it would be like your veins or something like that, right? If
Mm-hmm.
something happened, like if there was an explosion and it affected the network or it affected that, that's originally what happened. And then that's when it started coming out in big time. Now they've always been around,
Mm-hmm.
even back in Egyptian times, I think that they've seen them, but it really caused problems when those bombs went off.
And I like the analogy that you created. I just had a visual of that. Like imagine like your body is the universe, and then you throw a bomb. Like let's say you have a huge laceration on your arm, and now the
Mhm.
rest of your hand or arm cannot work anymore
Right.
because of this huge hole that you created.
Exactly.
Which is like that, right?
Yeah, if you think, and also if you think about getting an IV as well, you can actually have an IV put in your foot, and
Uh-huh.
and it would still affect your body. So it doesn't matter where you put it.
Right.
But if let's say if your toe goes bad, right,
Mm-hmm.
because it's got gangrene or something, right, then that's affected that portion. There's a reason for that to be there. There's a
Yes.
reason for that to be there. So, and it's not, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it feels like what you're saying is we're all whole, we're all one, we're all part of the puzzle of the whole
Yes, we
universe.
sure
And
are.
if you take one part away, then you're really destroying and manipulating in a negative way the rest of the
Right.
universe.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And if you think about it too, we should take care of our bodies. It's sort of the same thing. You're affecting it whenever you do something to it. But yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Amazing. Um, would you mind showing us some of the footage that you have?
Of course, yes. Let me pull this up. In fact, I've got one right here. Since we were just kind of talking about it earlier, we were just kind of doing a test. I'm going to show you this right here. Boom. Okay. This right here is my second MUFON unknown. MUFON is the Mutual UFO Network. This is actually at my mom's house, and I'm using a program called SM Player. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this craft up. Oh, see, watch it turn pink. All right. Now I'm just gonna let it play, and here goes. Just like that. And then let me zoom out so you can kind of see the lay of the land. This is the cool thing about SM players that you can do this kind of stuff. Okay. So basically what I did was I aimed a camera up to the sky and you can see the trees and the clouds and all of that. And then I'm going to zoom back in. Okay. And then I'm going to come over here and then later too, I can even show you how I'm doing this on my computer. I come down here to browse bookmarks and there we go. Okay. Now let's scoot this over. I'm going to play this. Then oh, there it is. It's back over this way. Pull that back up. There you go. So you can see that. Okay. So we're gonna go back just a few seconds. Every time I hit the back, it's one second. And here goes. And it just flips out just like that.
Wow, that was amazing.
Yes, that's my second MUFON unknown. That's that. Then I've got more to show you here. Let me just go ahead and pull
Hmm.
this out. Okay, and I'm going to show you probably one of my favorite ones is this one right here. Okay. I'm still seeing them. Okay. Wow. Okay. Oh, don't want to give it away. All right, here. All right. So this right here is what I call the golden object. Check this out. Wow. Oh, and it went by kind of quick. I'm going to go back here. Wow. Okay. Now I'm going to use the comma sign. There we go. And I'm going to use Alt and move this over here like this. Okay, here goes. Oh, bring this down here a little bit. There we go. Let me zoom out here just a little bit here, go wide on it. There we go. Okay, and then I'm going to take this video here and change the equalizer. I'm going to do a reset. There we go. Close. There we go. Now you can see it a little bit better, right? Okay, let's
Yeah,
go
for
back.
sure.
Okay. Now, the thing about this one is, let me roll it back. Here it goes. Wow. Okay. Okay. You can actually see there's a little something in there as well. So let's take a look at this at the top. So you say, oh, well, that could be anything, but I'm going to come over here. Let me zoom in. Okay. Bringing this over here just a little bit. We'll bring that. I apologize. There we go. There we go. Okay. So let's take a look at that little white thing up there. Do that there. And, all right. And then I'm hitting the E to zoom in. There we go. And bring that up. And it should be right. I apologize for that here. There we go. It's right there. So that was above. That's actually above the craft. So I'm going to hit the period sign to go forward and aim that down. Okay. And then this. Okay. Now I'm going to go wide so you can actually see there's the craft right there. Okay. So the thing about this craft is, there we go. Let that kind of play a little bit. I'm going to move it up. And then all of a sudden, this happens. There we go. Lights turn on.
Wow, this is so cool.
Thank you. Yeah. So that's my golden object. Okay, now I'm going to show you another one here real quick. So let's see what else we got here. So I have actually so many. Let's do let's do this one. This is what I call a Merkaba vehicle. Have you ever heard of Merkaba?
I have.
Okay,
Hmm.
great. Okay, so
Wow.
this is the beginning of it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, all right. Let's see what on it. Okay, so I started off. I was outside on my porch and I zoomed in on it. And at first you see the little dot. Dot's just kind of moving around.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now let me zoom in just a little bit. There we go. Let's go all the way down here. Okay. Now here's the thing about the Merkaba vehicle is that these shapes change every frame. Okay, I'm gonna zoom in once again. Okay, so this is about 30 frames a second. So every frame is a picture. So every time I hit the period, that's one, two. Oh, look how quickly that changed to green. Three, look at that pink. Four, five, six, seven. Ooh, I like that one. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and beyond. So every time I do that, it changes. So it's not the camera moving, it's actually the object that's changing.
Wow.
So I'm going to hit play and let it go.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll go forward. Here goes. Isn't that crazy?
That was beautiful. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
sharing that.
Sure. Oh yeah.
I,
That's one of my favorite ones actually too.
so you do this with the program that you have?
Yes. Yes. I use it's a freeware called SM Player. If you go to smplayer.info,
Mm-hmm.
that's the best place to get it. It's free. There's no ads, none of that stuff. You can go in and you can do frame by frame. You can zoom in just like I did everything like I do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then basically after that, I'll go in and then I use a program called Magix, and that's the program that I use to just edit my videos together and make them, presentable. So basically what I would do with that is show that part that I just showed you at the
Yeah,
beginning of the video and then show the full video after that. And that's what I do in my YouTube channel.
I see. That's awesome. I
Mhm.
love how you're showing us how to do it. I bet a lot of people are going to go home and start looking at their old videos and trying to
Yes,
see it.
definitely. And on your phone,
Mm-hmm.
basically what you do is you're just going to grab your phone.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're gonna get the wire. Let me pull it out of my phone, my headset here. And then you just plug it into your phone. And then your computer will say, oh, computer attached to the phone, whatever. And then you just look under, it's called DSIM. That's where you find your pictures. And you just take your video and roll it to your computer, and then you can do that. And I offer anybody who wants to email me objectsandorbs@gmail.com. And, if you want to do that, I can teach you how to do frame by frame, do all of that stuff. It's very easy.
Amazing. Thank you for that. We're going to
You're
definitely
welcome.
put your information down.
Yes, definitely. Mhm.
Wow. That's awesome. What else do you feel how do you feel your connection with the UFOs and being able to record them and share this information? How do you feel that has evolved since you started?
Oh my gosh. When I first started, I was aiming my phone in selfie mode. And now here's the thing. I'm going to tell you this right now. So this is a Samsung S22
Uh-huh.
Ultra. It's very nice and kind of expensive. It's not as bad as the new ones now, but um so I aimed this at the sun and let it sit there, and unfortunately it burned uh the screen a little bit. Not like melted it, but it burned out the sensor. So there's a little bit of pink in there whenever I do videos.
Hmm.
So you got to be careful. However, the selfie mode works great. So that's what I did on my very first video. I used the selfie mode. So yeah, that was the best way to do it. So if you have a phone, you just go out there and you can put it on a mount. Just get a little bit of Velcro
Hmm.
and get yourself a door hinge. Door hinges are about $4 or $5 at your local store, and it's got dog hair on it and everything, and so but
Very
I have
sophisticated.
yes, exactly. I use what I have, and that's what I tell people. I don't have any new stuff. Now, see, I would love to get a new Samsung S25 and take this one and use this one, because it'll record very nicely at night. That's the video that you just watched was from this phone.
Mm.
Yeah. And then the other one was from an old Motorola phone. So,
Amazing.
yeah, and that's something that really anybody can do. I always ask people, okay, if you've got Android, then I'm sorry because you probably don't have any Androids laying. If you have an iPhone, you probably don't have any iPhones lying around. But if you got Android phone, you probably have a drawer full of iPhone or Android phones that you're not using. Pull
Hmm.
them out, charge them up. If the camera works, you're good to go, and then you can set up the best setting for your camera. Always, always, always. Now, when we watch TV and like even the size of your screen right now, it's landscape, right? It goes
Correct.
this way, right? Well, a lot of
Uh-huh.
people, why do they always take their phones and do this? I don't know why, right? We
Yeah.
watch TV like this. So that's the way I do my videos. So that when I put them out there, I make sure that I can aim it. And really, when you're in selfie mode, you can look down and say, oh, there's the sun, and you can get out of the way and just let it record. And sometimes the phone will say, it's too hot or whatever, it'll stop. That's fine. It's an old phone. If it's an old phone, you're not using it, then okay, get rid of it. It was in a drawer anyway. That's the way I look at it. You're not going to use it anyway. Well, you know but let it record. I've got some Samsung S7s that work great. They were great. I love all that stuff. So yeah. And I've got a box of phones.
Wow.
Yeah.
As you're speaking and sharing the whole how to take the videos,
Hmm.
I'm feeling back like I have taken so many videos of the sun
Hmm.
at different
Okay.
times.
Okay.
Um, Never looked for anything further than that.
Yes.
But I'm feeling like, and this is the question that's coming through is like, do you ever feel like, oh, I'm gonna go take a picture now or a video now because you have maybe like a pull or an intuitive hit that they're going to be there at that time? Or
Not,
is it no?
no, not really, but there are times of the day I can go out really at early, before sunrise and I can see crafts going by and I see satellites going by too, but at night
Mm-hmm.
whenever I call them. So I always have my phone on me. So even if you could go to my YouTube channel right now and find out my very latest video, I already have a few hundred views on it, but I go out at night and just ask them to fly by and keep looking up. If you say, "Oh yeah, hey, Arcturus, that's Arcturus," you look up, say, "Okay," and then so every time you look, hey, there's something going by. Oh, grab your phone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then now here's what you can do, and here's what people do, is if you don't feel like doing the videos, you can always send them to me. Drop it into Google Drive. If you
Uh-huh.
just take your file and share it to your drive. Okay, that's probably the quickest and easiest way to do it. And
Mm-hmm.
then share it with me. You can give me the link or send it to objectsandorbs@gmail.com. Let me look at it. I'll download it. And many, many, many times I found UFOs on other people's videos.
Amazing.
A lot of times. So yeah, that's something because every time I pull up a file, it's just like a treasure chest or a Christmas present.
Uh-huh.
You don't know what it is. It's like a box of chocolates, right? You don't know which one you're gonna get, right? But definitely, yeah. So and there's people who've done it. Then there's people like, yeah, I want to learn step by step how to do what you do. So
Uh-huh.
it's like, okay, well, here's what you got. And whenever I was doing the conferences, I sold some of these as well,
Wow.
with the Velcro and all that, and teach people how to add the apps to your phone and it's very simple, but I always advise people to use the best setting on your phone that you can use, so
Mm-hmm.
then you have the best quality and just go from there. And if you don't feel like processing it, then I can process it. And I process videos for people in their names with their permission before as well.
I have a feeling you're going to get bombarded with more videos of people.
Yes, yes, definitely. Yeah, that's fine. I
Send
like
them
doing
all
that.
to Les.
Yes, that's what I like. And that's something that I would love to do. And here's the crazy thing is when I did my first MUFON Unknown, I sent it to the Little Rock Air Force Base Public Affairs Office. And at first they kind of laughed at me. And then I said, well, let me show you some videos and some pictures. And then I said, well, let me drop it by the gate. And then they said, yes, Mr. Durant, we do want your information. I was like, all right, well, that's fine. And, that kind of thing. Would you like to see that video?
Absolutely.
Okay, so let me pull that video up here for you.
Okay.
And all right.
And just so you guys know, I put this on like just your video.
Yeah.
So if you hear me like being very quiet and not making comments, because I don't want my face to pop up in the
Oh,
middle of the
that
video.
that's okay. All right. So not a problem. All right. So once again, I'm gonna do this. Okay. Now let me see if I can do, let me see. Oh, that's you. Hey, all right. How you doing? Okay, now I'm gonna do this over here. There we go. Transition. All right. This is my desktop view. Now you can see I'm gonna go down here. I'm gonna go to browse. And I don't know if you can actually see the words on your screen, but browse and then these bookmarks. And I'm gonna go to the first plane. Okay, now I'm going to use the E, or I'm going to use the W to zoom out. There we go. I'm going to give you the lay of the land here, right there. This right here is a lens flare. And so that means that whenever your lens is right on there, you get that flare. Well, and when it's stationary, then that flare becomes stationary. And now I'm going to come over here and fix the video. I'm going to do the equalizer and scoot this over just a little bit. I'm going to do reset. There we go. Close. All right, here we go. Now here comes the plane. So this is the C-130. And there we go. All right. Oh, let me bring this over here. Sorry about that. There we go. Okay. So there's the C-130. And okay. Okay, it's gonna go by. Let me know if you see anything. Probably not on that one. Okay, so I'm gonna go back, roll back a couple of seconds.
Yeah, I didn't see anything.
Okay, now let's zoom in. I'm gonna use Alt and the down. Okay, and here we go. Okay, I'm gonna scoot it over because I've got it zoomed in, of course. And right about here. And boom. Go back right there. Do you see that?
Absolutely. Wow, look at that.
Okay. All right, now I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to use my E. So this is my first MUFON unknown. So this is my very first video, and my first video is a UFO
Hmm.
right there. Now, here's the thing, is I also have noticed other things on this video as well. So let me come over here. Let me show you my face again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to forward it up just a little bit. So let's move it. We're going to scoot the plane over using Alt and the back arrow. Oh, there we go. Actually, I'm going to zoom out a little bit, go wide. Okay, there we go. Okay, now the thing about this video is I noticed that there's a little something else right about here. There's one. Oh, actually, I didn't even see that one. Right there. Right there. Yes, right at the top. Okay, let's zoom in on this. Go E, Alt, down. Right there. There's that. Now watch what happens. I'm going to scooch this back out so you can see the plane. Okay. And right here. Oops. Let's go a little bit more wide on that. There we go. Okay. Because I want you to be able to see the whole plane here. Sorry, you're just seeing blue right now. Okay. There's the plane. Okay, so there's one, two, three. Oh, look at three. Ooh. Okay, now we're gonna, and let me show you four real quick. There's four, five. So you can see that little dot. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to my over here so you can see. I'm going to go over here to video and then come down to equalizer. And let's give this a little less gamma. There we go. Okay, we're gonna hit close. All right, now Alt and down. And look at that. Ooh, boom. See how fast that is?
That's exactly what my mind was going. That's really
Yes,
fast.
yes, yes. So let me go ahead and transition back over here to my webcam. Yep. So that is my first MUFON unknown. That was my very first video. and I noticed that it was during COVID time, so I was just kind of playing around with the computer. And okay, I will tell you, I had an old Windows 7 computer with this video. So if you got an old Windows 7 computer and it's got a little bit of RAM in it, good enough to do a video, yeah. So that's
I love all the tips and teachings that you're giving us because it's like when I see this without the knowledge that you just gave us, I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, you need like an expensive type of
No,
phone or an expensive
no,
whatever, right? But you
no.
pretty much you can do it with anything that you have.
Yes, yeah. You can use an old computer, and you know, a lot of people have old computers laying around too. If you got an old Windows 7 computer, but it's fast enough, hey, load the video into it and down. But make sure go to smplayer.info and download the Windows version. Now, I will tell you this. I will tell you this. There is a new app that you can get, and if you go to the play. I think this is on the Play Store. I'm not sure if they have one in for the iPhone, but it's called Precise Frame by Frame,
Uh-huh.
and you can download it, Precise Frame by Frame MPV. Let me look. Let me put this in here. Let me just take a look and see. And you can actually do what I'm doing on your phone. Let's see, PRE, and it's Precise MPV. Okay. Okay, there it is. Frame by frame. It's called frame by frame. It's that one. It's called frame
Mm.
by frame.
Yeah, I can't see it that well.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
there you go. Okay.
that one, right? That dark blue one. Yep. You can download that and use your video. So let's say that you go outside, you take a video right now.
Hmm.
When you do is you just says it just says open file and you go in and you can just go frame by frame.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. I know
Thank you.
Stephen Greer also has an app that
Yes.
to connect.
Yes. And
Mhm.
that's something I appreciate what he does, but you don't have to do what he does to
Yeah, because that one is a paid thing.
That's right. Yeah, he is quite the businessman, we'll say. He's making money off of the entities. And so that's something that I have been told not to do. And of course I'm still, still try to make would be nice to recoup a little bit of the donations as far as what I'm doing to get better phones, but I'm not out to make a profit. And even when I did my conference at the food bank, I
Hmm.
charged $10 and they kept five and I kept five. So that's kind of how that
Amazing.
goes. Yeah. So that way we give and just as much as we take, back. And then I can always go buy another old used phone or whatever I need to do.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to put food on the table too.
Exactly. Right. Right. Yes, exactly. Yeah. And that's kind of the way I do it. And I just hang out otherwise during the day and just kind of go from there. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. And now that I've got a new area, I've already seen three or four. So I'm just waiting for a really, really good one and start maybe applying with MUFON again or putting in the information to MUFON again and just kind of going from there.
Do you usually do more during the day or in the evening or at night or it doesn't matter?
In the evening right now
Hmm.
because I'm still trying to figure out my patterns of where the sun is. The sun definitely does go over the top of my house, which is great. I didn't have that in Georgia, so I'm happy now that now the way that another thing that I do is I download a compass so I
Mm.
can see exactly where I'm at and exactly where the sun is. And then I just go out there and set up my stuff and let it record and go from there and try to
So
catch.
wait, is the sun part of why you see so many? Like you want to be near the sun when you're recording?
Definitely. Yeah. Now, once again, this is your phone is your phone. If it gets burned or whatever, it's not gonna like set on fire, nothing like that. But
Hmm.
so yes, I've caught a lot of different objects in the sun and I've got videos of those. I've seen some that I call black tops. They're silver. I don't know if
Hmm.
you've ever seen Skinwalker Ranch, but there's these silver ones and they kind of have like a black top on them. And
Hmm.
I've seen ones very similar to Skinwalker Ranch in the sun. And
Wow.
that's a great place for them to hide because we can't look at the sun. And I've got
Wow.
videos of them even with materials and metal, when you can see metal or when you can see formation or the body of it. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So when you teach other people how to do it, it's just like this, like what the information you just gave me
Exactly.
here.
Yes. Yep.
You don't
Yeah.
have like a course or a class where you like,
No,
okay.
no. Basically anybody who wants to talk to me can talk to me just like me and you, and I
Uh-huh.
can walk you through setting it up. That's not a big deal. That's something I would rather do than, it'd be nice to have a class definitely. And I'm trying to put together an exec step by step, and I've got that working right now.
Hmm.
That's another project. It's kind of like once again ADHD, just
Uh-huh.
put something over there. I'm gonna work on that project. Then no, I'm gonna work on this project over here and go back to that. But that project is pretty much done. It just needs to be edited, but it does go step by step using all of the software that I use.
Amazing.
Even showing you how to hook it up to your the Velcro and everything and
Hmm.
go from there. Yeah.
Awesome. I think I'm gonna be trying that tonight.
Yes, definitely. I tell
And I
people
will
go
let
out.
you know if I see
Yes, okay.
anything.
So here's what I'm gonna have you do. I'm gonna have you use more free software.
Uh-huh.
You're gonna click on Sky Map. Oh,
Okay, I have Sky Map.
SkyMap perfectly. Okay, so let's click on SkyMap. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna look at the brightest star. So I'm gonna turn around here. Let's see. Pollux. Yep, I see Pollux, and I think right now it's just pull-ups. So that's
Okay.
one that. Oh, and Altair's down there. So that's okay. Altair's another friend of mine, either Altair or some of the other ones. But it said, hey, go outside. Hey, that's Pollux. I already know
Hmm.
what it is. Then that way I can look up every couple of minutes or every few seconds. Okay, something's flying by. Can you fly by Pollux? And if it does, then I tell people this: go outside tonight and call a satellite
Hmm.
and see if a satellite flies by, right? Okay.
Right.
Then go outside and call an entity and ask them in your mind and out loud, can you fly by Pollux for me? Or fly by the star that you see, the brightest star. But
Hmm.
at least you know what star it is using SkyMap. And then if it's a satellite, then that's fine. They usually move in the same way. But if you see a blue object or an orange object or something that's a way other different color
Hmm.
than what a satellite would be, then yeah.
How long do you suggest people to wait before they see something or before they give up? Because I
Um,
know I have like you with ADHD, like no patience of like waiting, like, okay, I
yeah,
didn't see anything. And
yeah, a couple, maybe just a couple of hours, just right after the sun sets, right when
uh-huh.
the stars start to come out.
Okay.
That's when you want to do it, right when the stars come out. And you don't have to like, oh, you don't have to do that. You do like we're doing right now, like, and I'll look up there like, okay, and like, oh, there's one, and we just, just like that. It works just like that. And it
Amazing.
happens with my wife too. My wife sees them as much as I do. She can come out and she's like, "Did you see any?" And then she'll see, "I saw some." And yeah, we do definitely see a lot of satellites, but then we see ones that aren't on. Now we also see some quote unquote planes,
Hmm.
quote unquote planes. They think they're planes, but they don't sound like real planes. So those are the blink. We call those blinkies. That's what I call them, little blinkies, little red and white blinky. That's what I thought that gold one was. I thought it was just a blinky. The reason why I call it that is because they blink, but sometimes they don't blink in that kind of pattern.
Hmm.
And if you don't see green on there, that's part of their navigational lighting that they have to have. Then you can be suspicious. Look it up on Flight Radar 24 as well. That's another app that everybody should have. Flight Radar 24. So
Hmm.
you can determine what planes are out there. And I have all of this on my phone, on my main screen. So right now I can say, okay, let's take a look and let this thing load. It's taking a little bit of time, but I can go in actually, let's scooch that out just a little bit. That's probably what it is. There we go. But the Flight Radar 24, what it does is it tells you what planes are in the area at the moment.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen that. I think I had it on my phone and then I was like, I don't need that.
Yeah, so
But I
basically,
guess now I do.
oh yeah, definitely. So you want that, and there's a little thing up here called AR. You click on AR, and it's augmented reality, and see you can see. Oh, look, see, there's some that are already out there. Those are the ones that are out there. So right now, and now
That
if I
works
look,
pretty fast.
Yeah, now if I look this way, I can see one from San Francisco to Orlando. It tells me what kind of aircraft it is, all of that. Now, if you put it up there and it doesn't show,
Hmm.
then that's one way to be suspicious about.
Okay,
Yeah.
amazing.
Thank
Well,
you.
this has been a fascinating conversation. I'm so
Thank you.
excited that we finally got to record this.
Yeah.
I'll put all of your
Well,
information in the notes for people to get in touch with you.
yes, thank you. And I will send that out. And now what I'm going to do now, can I tell everybody where how to reach me?
Yes, absolutely. Go
Yes,
ahead.
okay. All right. So if you want to get a hold of me to learn about the apps, just my email is objects and orbs, all one word, objects and orbs at gmail.com. Go to my YouTube channel, Objects and Orbs, and that has spaces in it. And then go to my group, which is also Objects and Orbs. And my Facebook group is a little bit more laid back, that we have a lot of organic people in there. I've got some physicists in there, and I got a guy who's written books on magnetism, and some other guys that are in that. So it's a very professional type group. We don't do any laughing. I don't accept any TikTok, none of that stuff. It's all stuff that it's genuine.
Amazing. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for
Yes.
bringing this information out to the public and
Oh
all
yeah.
that you're doing.
You're welcome. And I will also tell you this, that I am in a documentary called Encounters, the complete interviews in season one, episode three. And you can watch that on Tubi. Just look up my name. And, just to try to sell myself here, if you type in Les Durrant into Google search, you're going to find a bunch of stuff. And then find me on Spotify and also on Amazon Prime and wherever you get your streams from as well.
Amazing. Make sure you give me that link as well, and I'll put
Yes,
it on
yes.
the, it'll
Thank
be
you.
right down there in the
Yes.
in the comments or in the description.
Yes, definitely. Thank you. Yeah. And if you ever want any documentation, see, we didn't even talking about any documents. I've got a lot of that stuff too.
Yeah, we didn't.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I've got, I'm gonna give all of your listeners a homework lesson, if that's okay.
Of
Okay.
course.
Here's what I want you to do. And you can do this too.
Uh-huh.
So go to Google, and then you're going to type in magic, 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 and then space, Reagan, Reagan, and make sure it's spelled Magic, not Magic, not magic. It's going to be magic with a J. Okay. Then what you're going to do, is you're going to see something called a worm file, WHORM. That's a White House file. Okay, that comes from the White House. This is coming from the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library. Okay, then you're going to go to page 18. And beyond page 18, you will learn everything about Roswell, and that Roswell was real, that the bodies were recovered, and where everybody went to and everything went to. And it will also tell you that there was an effective cover story that it was a weather balloon. So that's your homework tonight. I want you to look for those PDFs. Now, if you like, I'm going to give
Amazing.
you one other one.
Go
Okay, this
ahead.
is this is very simple.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and you
I'm
can
writing
download
this
it.
down.
You can download MP3s with this
Uh-huh.
style. Okay, so you're gonna go index space of
Hmm.
// teleportation
Okay.
dot mil, which is military, dot PDF.
That mil MIL.
Yep. Dot
Okay.
PDF. So what this is going to do, this is going to take you to a military website, possibly the CIA or any of those others, and you'll be able to download information about the government working with teleportation. And then see,
Okay.
then see, we could always do a part two about how
Oh, I think we're gonna
teleportation to the
have to.
moon,
I
yeah,
think
to
we're gonna
the
have
moon
to.
and to Mars. Yes. Yeah. So that's another way to do it. Or if you want to do, you can go index of space, put in your group name dot MP3, and you find you some MP3s. Blah. There you go. So hot.
Amazing. I love it. We're definitely
Yeah.
going to have a part two. So, anyone who's watching this, if you have any questions or any comments about
Yes.
this episode or anything, if you found anything out from all the sites that Les just told you about, put them in the comments and then we can address them as well on the next podcast.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, that will be great. So let me know how Magic Reagan turns out for you. Go ahead and download it. It's a download. It's just a
Uh-huh.
PDF. It's coming from a government site. And then that will actually give you that way you can scroll and look at the documentation that I am. But
Hmm.
because once again I'm ADHD, I'm not going to read the whole thing. But somebody who's a good speed reader or wants a really good read,
Uh-huh.
there you go. That will do it. You'll also see President Eisenhower's or no President Truman's autograph in there as well, and a bunch of other things too.
Amazing. Well, thank you
Yes.
for that.
All
Yay.
right. Yes,
What a
you're
way
very
to
welcome.
end this.
Yes. Yes, you're very welcome.
All right. Well, with that, thank you so much again for being on my podcast and sharing
Sure.
all this information with us.
Sure,
And
you're very welcome.
we'll see you next time.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.